Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I got a special event for y'all. This is gonna be called the Adroit Talks Mock Draft. I got a panel of some very special guests that I would like for y'all to go ahead and meet. I'm going to go ahead and allow them to introduce themselves to y'all. Go ahead and let's get this show on the road. That I would like for y'all to go ahead and meet. I'm going to go ahead and allow them to introduce themselves to y'all. Go ahead and let's get this show on the road. Hang on. All right, we good. All right, Blitz, you can go ahead and get it started. We're gonna go from top to bottom.
All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Jaden. I run the Blitz podcast and at BlitzPod on Instagram. It's pretty simple. We just post a lot of NFL content, a lot of draft content. So be sure to follow us at BlitzPod on Instagram, at the Blitz Podcast on Twitter, and check out the Blitz Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
All right. And my name's Jake. I run Seahawks.Beliefs on Instagram, and all I do is just post daily Seahawks news and updates.
I'm Cody. I've yet to start an Instagram sports page. Looking to put one together for all things Wisconsin sports. This is my second live mock draft.
What's up? I'm the Gridiron Observer. I run the Gridiron Observer on Instagram. I mainly just focus on draft content. I do a lot of scouting. That's what I want to get into mostly.
What's up, everyone? My name's Devin. I'm the creator and host of the Chosen League podcast. Y'all can check me out on Instagram at _chosen_league. You can also check me out on TikTok at the Chosen League. You can also check out my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube.
What's up, guys? I'm Sports Talks Fanatics on Instagram and Twitter. I do a lot of NBA and NFL content, from regular season, postseason, cover it all. Make sure you check it out. I'm very active on there, daily discussions and all that. Pretty sure you'll like it.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Oscar. I run NFL News Wired. Just started the page. Beginning of the season that just passed, 2021 season. Still trying to work my way up. Ad is my name. So if you guys want to give me a follow, I'd appreciate it.
All right, so that's the panel. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment this video. Check out any other guys' Instagram page as well. Y'all know the rules for the mock drafts we've done in the past. This is going to be a little bit different as we are allowing trades to go through. We've actually already had one trade that's already went through. We'll be doing more as the draft goes on. But let's go ahead and show you all what that first trade looked like. So we had the Houston Texans making a trade with the Jets. And if you guys do not know, what we're doing here with this particular draft, since there's 8 of us, is we all have one division. I have the AFC West. And if you guys could go through and say what division you have.
I've got the AFC South.
I got the NFC West.
I have the NFC North.
I have the NFC East.
I have the AFC North.
I have the NFC South.
And I have the AFC East.
All right. And right here, as you can see, the Texans wanted to go ahead and move up to that third spot. Not quite sure what they had their eyes on, but we're going to find out here soon. Let's go ahead and get this draft started. Jags, you're on the clock.
Yeah, so number one pick, going to be pretty simple. I'm sure you've seen this 1,000 times. It's going to be Aiden Hutchinson, the end from Michigan. I think this is the pick no matter what right now. I know there's some rumblings of Trayvon Walker potentially jumping up there, but I just think this makes the most sense for the Jags right now, especially after we saw the tagging of Cam Robinson. Walker a little moving along in his development. I don't think they go tackle here at 1. And I think Kayvon Thibodeau just a little bit too risky right now. Aiden Hutchinson, the very high floor, safe pick at number 1 for Jacksonville.
All right, and next up, we got the Detroit Lions with the number 2 pick. You're on the clock.
So the Lions are going to end up picking another edge rusher, Kayvon Thibbs out of Oregon. It's a little bit of a risky pick, but it has a very high reward, the same way that Nick Bosa did for the 49ers, seeing how he completely took their defense to the next level.
Great pick, if I might add. That pick right there just changed the whole trajectory of the draft. I got the AFC West, bro. I was if he would have dropped, I would have traded a lot to get him. But hey, we on to the next pick. The New York Football Giants moving up to that third spot. And who are you picking with this next pick?
So with this pick, I would go ahead and take Sauce Gardner, Ahmad Gardner out of Cincinnati. It might be a reach, but I would definitely say he's the best defender in the draft apart from Aiden Hutchinson. And I think he'll definitely solidify that secondary for New York, which they desperately need.
Definitely. Sauce has a great potential for the next level. I think he only gave up a max of 16 yards in one game this past season. Great prospect. Think it's going to have a great career. You're up with the next pick. Who you got?
With this pick, I would go ahead and take Garrett Wilson. Might as well put him in there with Corey Davis and I forgot who they just recently selected last year. Elijah Moore, I think his name is. Yeah, Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Might as well throw him in there. Zach Wilson would need some more options to throw it to. Might as well have that depth for him.
Definitely another first wide receiver off the board. Another guy with some great potential. We got the New York Giants coming up here next. Who you got?
With the fifth pick, I'll be taking Evan Neal, the tackle out of Alabama. I mean, Nate Solder has not been very good at tackle, so they need to move on. I think Evan Neal provides the highest upside of any tackle in this class. So I think it's a pretty easy selection here to beef up the O-line for Daniel Jones.
Great pick. Evan Neal faced a lot of top-tier edge rushers in the SEC last year. Giants need a whole offensive line, if you ask me, not just that guard position. But Evan Neal is definitely a guy that they could use for the future here. We got the Carolina Panthers with the next pick. You're on the clock.
A pretty choice right here. That's a lot of took a lot of consideration between the quarterbacks in this draft, between the high prospects of Willis and Pickett, and I'm going to go Kenny Pickett here. He's a little more pro ready, while Willis is more of a project. He has more upside, but his floor is probably the lowest out of all these quarterbacks. And Carolina is very heavy on getting a quarterback after seeing Sam Darnold and Cam Newton vastly struggle. And here they select their quarterback for the next future.
Great pick for them. Did some special things there at Pitt. Now, with that being said, New York Giants, I got some trades for you, bro. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to offer from the Chiefs their 29th, their 30th pick, their second pick as well for that number 7 pick you got there.
Wow, I mean, that's kind of a hard. I don't know. I think there's really good value at the top of the board. I think I like what I see here, and I think I'm down to 2 players right now. And I think what I'm going to end up going with is Akeem Ekwonu. He can play excellent versatility across the offensive line. I mean, you can start him at guard, you can start him at tackle. I think I'd feel better about him at guard, although he's a very good tackle as well. So I think having 2 really good guys beef up the offensive line can really help things out for that team.
Great pick, Icky, out of NC State, pushing guys off of the screen. If you watch the film, great NFL player. He's going to be one of the top tackles as soon as he gets inside the league. I feel like pretty lofty, but he's got hell of a potential. Now we got the Falcons coming up with the next pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go Drake London here. The Falcons definitely need some more receiving core weapons after seeing Julio's departure and Calvin Ridley's suspension from the NFL. They really only have one versatile threat at that position, which is Pitts, who is more of a receiving tight end that can line up outside and do a lot of things for them. And it gives Mariota another weapon, and Atlanta really needs one. So I'm going to go Drake London here, who has major upside.
Great pick, major upside. Atlanta needs a wide receiver bad. Calvin Ridley. I don't even know if he wants to play football anymore. But let's go ahead and get into this next pick. Seattle Seahawks, you are on the clock.
All right. I know a lot of Seahawks fans want Malik Willis, but I don't think that I think we should wait till next year to get a quarterback, as I think that draft class is higher. And this year, with the lack of offensive line, we're taking Charles Cross.
Charles Cross out of Mississippi State, one of the best offensive linemen in this year's draft. Great tape. He's going to be a pretty consistent NFL player. I do have another trade that I would like to propose. This is for the Texans. As you can see, your team needs is every position, bro. Every position, bro. You can trade that 10th pick for 2 picks. I'm going to offer with the Chiefs their 29th and their 30th pick for that 10th spot.
Well, I think I know exactly who you're coming up to get. And the guy that you're coming up to get is the guy that I want here. This is the guy that I would have taken at 3 if I stayed at 3. So, holy shit. Kyle Hamilton falling all the way to 10. Give me Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah,
Sorry.
is exactly.
I'm sorry. I love that pick. You talked about it. They need every position, and this guy can play every position. You can move him around to a lot of places on defense. So I think this is a home run to move down, add a second and a future first. That's probably going to be in the top 12 again next year, and get that guy. Love it for Houston.
Great pick, man. Great pick. You're doing a dang thing, bro. Kyle Hamilton, one of the best players in this year's draft. With him falling in this mock draft, he's a steal at where he is. All right, now we got the next pick coming up here, and we have on the clock the Commanders.
Okay, so I was dead set on drafting my wide receiver 1, Drake London. He is obviously off the board now, so I am open to trades.
I'd be willing to use the 28th pick and lower round picks from this year and future years to trade up to the 11th.
What would you be offering more specifically?
So let's see, if we did the 28th from this year, our first, second round pick, and our fourth round pick.
I mean, I just don't think that's enough value. I think
I'm willing to throw in the 28th pick and our second round this year, a second round next year, and our fourth and fifth round picks.
You know what? I have someone that I absolutely love on the board, a top 3 player on my big board right now that I'm going to take right here. I'm going to go with Derek Stingley.
Great pickup, Derek Stingley. He's had some injuries in the past that kind of prevented him from showing himself last season. But when he did play, Derek Stingley locked up Jamar Chase. And if you've seen last season, Jamar Chase is one of the premier wide receivers. So the fact that Derek Stingley was able to do that just shows the talent that he has, that he's going to transition to the next level with. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings with their first pick. You're on the clock.
I guess Vikings were eyeing Derek Stingley Jr. also, but at this point they're going to go for an edge rusher with George Karlaftis out of Purdue to hopefully beef up their defense now that Anthony Barr is out of the picture.
Great pickup for them, George Karlaftis, one of the best pass rushers in this year's draft. We got the Texans with another pick coming up here. You're on the clock.
All right. Well, I am willing to move this pick. So I know, Cody, you had an offer but I don't know if I'm ready to move on from 13 at this point in time. So if anybody has anything for 13, please say something in the next like 20 seconds.
I'd be willing to use the 22nd pick and a bunch of and like second round picks to move up to the 13th pick.
So go ahead, whoever was.
So I could offer you the Packers 22nd overall pick, and then our first of our 2 second round picks that came from the Raiders, and our fourth round pick for the 13th overall pick.
Okay, so it would be 22, 53, and a fourth.
Yeah.
Let me double check the board real quick. You know what? I think I'm going to stay here. I think I'm going to stay at 13 because a guy that's actually has the second highest odds. Oh,
I got an offer.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So not quite sure what was offered before, but this one coming with the Broncos. I'm gonna be trading our next year's first round pick and our second round pick this year for that spot right there.
Well, next year's first belongs to Seattle.
You're absolutely correct. Wow. Yeah. You're right. Trade veto, bro. It's null and void.
Yeah.
It's null and void. Yeah,
All
you're right. You're right.
So I think I'm going to stay here at 13, and I'm going to take a guy who is currently sitting with the second best odds to go number 1 overall, weirdly enough, in Trayvon Walker, the edge rusher out of Georgia. This is a guy with all the physical tools. He is probably, outside of maybe Kayvon Thibodeau, the most athletic player, or at least the most athletic edge in this class. Just needs to develop a pass rush plan, and I think that he'll have plenty of time to do so in Houston, as they don't need him to step in immediately and be an impact player right away. So he'll be able to develop that, and this could be a steal at 13 in a few years.
Definitely. That is the player I had my eyes on as well. He had a great combine where he posted a 4.7. He paired up with the other defensive linemen there at Georgia. He really stood out. But there's also some other players on the board here that I'm pretty sure the Ravens have their eyes on. You're on the clock.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Andrew Booth Jr. as my pick.
Cornerback out of Clemson, one of the best corners, the defensive backs in this year's class. He battled in the ACC, and he also faced some tough competition with their matchups with Alabama and other teams of that nature. But we got the Eagles coming up with 2 picks back to back. You're on the clock.
Actually, we had a trade announced. I'm going to be moving back the 16th pick to number 21, I believe. Getting a 3rd round pick coming up. So I do not have 16 anymore, but I do still have 15.
Okay. I'm going to put the 15th in, and then I'm going to put the trade in afterwards.
Okay. And still kind of hard decision here to make. A lot of guys I really like on the board, but I think the guy that I'm going to be going after is going to be Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia. Obviously, we got Kaiser White, but I still think we have a major need at linebacker, and I think Nakobe Dean could really fill that. He's a very talented linebacker. I'd really be excited to get this pick, even if he's a little undersized.
Great pickup, Nakobe Dean, a leader of one of the best defenses in last year's NCAA season. He also led Georgia in tackles, and he is an all-around good linebacker. So you said you made a trade with the Patriots?
Yes, whoever has the 21st pick is moving up to 16 now.
And you said you got
I got a 3rd round pick this year.
3rd out of it. Okay. Boom. Patriots, you've moved up to the 16th pick. You're on the clock.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had a little connection problem.
You good?
With me moving up, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I was hoping this guy would still be there. I'll go ahead and take Jameson Williams with this pick. I know it's a little risk.
High risk, high reward. Jameson Williams is coming back from an ACL injury. He actually, they just announced that he's back running and everything. He may even play this season, but who knows? With him going to Bill Belichick and his system, he could definitely become one of the best wide receivers the Patriots drafted ever, which is pretty rare. Now we got the AFC West with their first pick. We got the Chargers going ahead and selecting one of the best wide receivers in this year's class. This wide receiver, I think, has a major upside. He didn't come from one of the top schools, but he is built like that. His name is Christian Watson, posted one of the best 40 times. His film is amazing. I think that he had a great pro day as well. And he came from a small school. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints with the next pick. You're on the clock.
Okay, this is a tough choice. We know Teron Armstead is now in Miami, and the Saints need to fill in a tackle spot. But they have a track record of finding gems in the second and third rounds, just like Teron Armstead. So here, I'm going to go with another wide receiver, the third straight. I'm going to take Chris Olave out of Ohio State. The guy has top end speed. He has great ball skills. His frame is a little small, but he has excellent speed running a 4.3 in the combine, and he just explodes off the screen every time he plays.
One of the best wide receivers in this year's draft. He had a great combine, as mentioned previously, and he's paired up with Garrett Wilson, so he didn't have as many targets as he could have. With him being with the Saints now, he could definitely have a great NFL career. Next up, we got the Eagles. You're on the clock.
This is a choice that I make in a lot of my mock drafts. I posted a scouting report on him today. He's currently a top 10 player on my board. I don't trust Isaac Suamalo at guard right now. And I think Landon Dickerson's going to move to center as soon as Jason Kelsey retires. I'm going to take Kenyon Green, the offensive lineman out of Texas A&M here.
Great pickup here. Kenyon Green. He's out there like a refrigerator. Nobody's moving him. There he is. He had a great season with Texas A&M. Didn't give up a lot of sacks, and he was great in the run game as well. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Mike Tomlin is smiling right now. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Malik Willis. Now this pick right here is one of those picks that I think is actually going to go down. Out of all the teams that have shown interest in Malik Willis, the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in the kid. Mike Tomlin is smiling cheek to cheek every time he sees the guy. Malik Willis seems like he's a fan of Mike Tomlin. He was surprised the guy eats chicken wings, man. Who doesn't eat chicken wings? All right. Next up, we got the Eagles with their next pick. You're on the clock.
So once again, I'm actually willing to trade down somewhere in the range of about 5 to 10 spots here, if anyone's willing. If not, I think this might look like a little bit of a reach to begin with, but I really like this player, and I think he fills a big need on this team. I'm going to go with Kyler Gordon, the cornerback out of Washington.
All right, now we got another cornerback coming off of the board here. Kyler Gordon had a pretty nice season with Washington. Next up, we got the Packers with their pick that they got from the Raiders. You're on the clock.
So the Packers had their eye on Chris Olave, who's not on the board at the moment, but they're still going to be looking at wide receivers with this pick. And really like Treylon Burks out of Arkansas with the 22nd overall pick to fill the void left by Devontae Adams.
Really good pickup, Treylon Burks. Not the speediest wide receiver as far as 40 times go, but when you watch him in game, he's got football speed. He also has some pretty sure hands that I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is going to like there in Green Bay. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals with their first pick in this year's draft. You're on the clock.
All right. Well, I was about to get that wide receiver right there, but because of that, I'll have to go with Trent McDuffie out of Washington for the Arizona Cardinals.
What a steal. Trent McDuffie dropping all the way down that 23rd pick. Pretty sure he's going to have a great career with the Cardinals. Next up, we got the Cowboys. You're on the clock.
This is a player that I also recently watched, and I can't believe he's fallen this far. He's got a ton of hype over the course of the season, the draft process. I'm going to go with Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa.
Great pickup. Tyler Linderbaum, one of the lowest floors that we have here in the draft. He does have pretty short arms, is really dropping his draft stock, but he's so consistent that I think he's going to have a great career at the next level. Next up, we have the Bills with the next pick. You're on the clock. AFC North, you're on the clock.
Need a receiver. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Jahan Dotson. Yeah.
Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, one of the best wide receivers in this year's class. I can't hear anything right now. Jahan Dotson, one of the best wide receivers in this year's class out of Penn State. Really speedy guy. I did just get a message from News Wired. He says he can't hear anything right now. News, I'm going to remove you real quick and then add you back. Can you hear us now? Okay, hang on. Yeah, this thing is going by fast. If y'all want to keep going, just let me know. Remind me to never join from my phone again. My apologies for that. Okay, so Newswired is gonna get in here pretty soon. Give it a few more moments though. But we do have the Tennessee Titans with their next pick. You're on the clock.
This is a player that's taken. I guess this is pretty solid for his draft stock. It's a need after letting Roger Saffold out the door. Zion Johnson out of Boston College. This is a lot of people's guard one. I really like him. He can play all across the line, and they need to try and maximize this window with Derrick Henry while he's still an able running back.
Preach. I think that would be a great pick for them. With Derrick Henry, they need somebody to keep his jersey clean. And Zion is one of those refrigerator type of players that can definitely ensure that he's going to get contact after his first or second yard gained. Now we got the Tampa Bay Bucks with their next pick. You are on the clock.
Okay, here, with the loss of Alex Kappa, they're going to need some guard help. So here I'm going to go, what's the guy's name? Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa.
Great pickup. Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, a great
He's
offensive
versatile.
tackle, but you could definitely move him over to that guard position as he could play both positions. All right. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers, and you are on the clock.
So the Packers are, of course, tempted to strengthen their offensive line depth after losing Billy Turner. However, they still have a decent amount of depth on the interior with versatile guys like Elton Jenkins who can play outside. So they're going to again address the wide receiver position and go with Sky Moore out of Western Michigan.
Great pickup for them. Getting Sky Moore out of Western Michigan, one of the faster guys in the draft, as previously stated. Now that Aaron Rodgers has 2 wide receivers in this year's draft, I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to do something with them. Now we got the Kansas City Chiefs with their 29th pick coming up. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time because I got my phone line open, man. Anybody want to make any trades? Oh my goodness, he's still here.
See, I'd be willing to trade up more to the middle of the second round.
All right. We got no trades here. So with this pick, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to select the big guy out of Georgia, 340 pounds, running a 4.7, freak of nature, Jordan Davis. He's a game changer, and he's going to be an absolute monster at the next level. We do have the Chiefs with their next pick as well, and they're going to go ahead and draft one of the best players in this year's draft. And his name is Lewis Sign. They're drafting Lewis Sign due to them no longer having Tyrann Mathieu on their roster. And also Lewis Sign can learn some tools of the trade from the safety that they just got in the offseason. I'm drawing a blank on his name at the moment. But he could definitely learn some things from him, as he will be the guy for the future. We got the Super Bowl appearance. Cincinnati Bengals here with the next pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with their Zion Johnson.
He's already been picked. The
Titans, he already been picked?
Yep, Titans were a little bit ahead of you.
Oh, okay. Okay, then Kenyon Green. That's it.
Yep, he got picked too.
Right. He got picked too? Oh
yeah.
My God. I'm looking through here. I'm like, hey, dang, man.
I got you, Ango. I can go through. You looking for guards, tackles?
I got the. Give me Tyler Smith. That's who I'm gonna pick. Damn.
I'm sorry, I have no idea. Tyler Smith out of Tulsa, offensive tackle. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions with their next pick. I'm really surprised it doesn't say that they need everything as their team needs, but you're on the clock. I hope that isn't you're here, right?
Yeah, sorry, I was just having internet issues for a little bit. So Lions are gonna again go defensive and select Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah.
Great pickup. Devin Lloyd, pretty questionable in the running game. And also, he can be moved to that edge position as well. With him dropping to that 32 pick, There's no way that the Detroit Lions were going to let him slide any further. Now that's it with the first round. If you guys are all up for it, we could definitely keep going. But if you're not, that's fine as well. It's up to you.
I'm unfortunately gonna have to run. I don't want to prevent the rest of you from going on to the second round.
Nah, you're good. I can draft for you, bro.
I have time for one more round.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, we can do it.
I can do the second round as well.
All right, cool. So, due to Cody dropping off, I didn't get to say bye. Due to Cody dropping off, I now have the AFC West. I also have the
I think he had the NFC North.
Yeah, he had the NFC North.
And with NFL Newswired having technical difficulties, I'll be drafting for the AFC East as well. So let's go ahead and get this second round started. We have the Jags with the first pick in the second round. Who you getting?
I'm going to go with cornerback out of Florida, Kyer Elam. I like this player a lot. This was a guy that this time last year was looking like he was going to be probably a top 10 pick in this year's class and just didn't really put it on tape this year. They still need help at corner after the myriad of picks the myriad of signings that they made. Corner was something they didn't really address that well. And I think Kyer Elam's a steal here at 33.
Great pickup for them. One of the players that'll really change that franchise around as they look to change things up in Jacksonville. We got the Detroit Lions with their next pick. You are on the clock. Okay, that's me. I am going to go ahead and select with this pick one of the players that I did not think was going to drop this low. His name is Bernard Raymond. He's one of the best offensive linemen in this year's draft. If he drops to that second round, no way he slides past the 40th pick. Again, with his film, you see him dragging guys off of the screen. They're completely being obliterated when he gets their hands on them. I think he's going to have a pretty nice NFL career at the next level. We have with the next pick, the New York Football Giants. You're on the clock.
I believe we have the Jets up next, then I'm afterwards.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Jets. I apologize. Hang on, sorry, I wasn't expecting this. I think that may be me as well. Yep, that's me as well. All right, so with this pick, I am going to go ahead and select one of the best linebackers in this year's draft. I think he has amazing tape. He's been overlooked due to the small school that he went to. Also, he had an amazing combine. If you guys have some time, please go by, check out his combine. I think he really showed and proved himself. His name is Chad Muma. Next up, we have the New York Football Giants. You're on the clock.
Well, I was getting ready to actually take Chad Muma, so I'm scrambling for a new player here. And I think this guy's kind of dropped off the board. He was getting a lot of hype about a month ago. He had a really good Senior Bowl, and I think he could really fill a good void for this team. I'm going to go Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher out of Florida State here.
Great pickup, game changer. Like you said, he had an amazing Senior Bowl. Next up, we got the Texans. You're on the clock.
Yeah, we got back-to-back picks here, and I love the way that the board has fallen. I'm going to go extremely Georgia heavy after getting Trayvon Walker at 13. I'm going to go Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman from Georgia. He's going to slide right in the middle there alongside Trayvon Walker. Obviously, they're going to have some rapport there from their time at Georgia. I'm going to go Georgia again with wide receiver George Pickens. This is a player that I love. I love George Pickens. I've been lobbying for him in the first round a lot. And like has been talked about at great length, the Houston Texans need everything. So to say that they, take a shot on a George Pickens is not crazy here.
Two great picks as well. If the Texans come out with the picks that you've drafted for them, I'm pretty sure they'll be extremely happy. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears, and I have that pick. With this particular pick, I'm going to go ahead and get someone that's hopefully going to protect Justin Fields as he hopefully has a long NFL career. And this player that I am going to pick, his name is Trevor Penning already got picked. Guy out of Kentucky is pretty good. Dylan Parham is okay too. I am going to select with this pick Dylan Parham out of Memphis. Had a pretty nice season with Memphis, pretty consistent as well as he hopefully will keep Justin Fields' jersey clean. Next up, we got the Seahawks with back-to-back picks. You're on the clock.
All right. With the first pick, we're gonna be picking a Jalen Petre. I don't know how to say his last name, but from Baylor, cornerback.
All right, with this pick here, they're getting Jalen Petre out of Baylor, cornerback. He has some nice speed. If you guys didn't know, I can do this. If you have any questions about anybody, just let me know. I got you. Next up, we have the Seahawks again with their next pick. Who are you picking?
With that one, Matt Corral's still on the board, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna take him.
All right, Matt Corral out of the Sunshine State, Mississippi. Pretty nice NFL, NCAA career. Next up, we do have the Indianapolis Colts with their next pick. You're on the clock.
This one's a little bit of a tough spot after the way that the wide receiver board fell, because quite honestly, I see that to be one of their only needs as of right now. Additionally, with left tackle being one of their spots, but that's also kind of fallen pretty poorly for them. So we're going to take a shot on a guy that's probably a first-round talent had he stayed healthy for Alabama, and that's going to be John Mechie. Adds a speed element. I think Chris Ballard might be a little hesitant to take this after what they've experienced with Paris Campbell and his injury history, but I think John Mechie can come in and be a very reliable resource for Matt Ryan and, a little bit of a yin-yang with the big Michael Pittman. We have a smaller, speedy John Mechie.
Not gonna lie, that one flew over my head, bro. What position is he? Oh, right here. Yeah. Wow, this is a steal. This guy is football fast. If you watch his tape, he pops off of the screen. You can see his age. He's a young guy. They got him going in the third round, but whatever team really gets him, he's going to have a nice career. We have the Atlanta Falcons with the next pick. You're on the clock.
So here, I'm selecting Boy Mafe out of Minnesota. He's a guy that has a lot of upside, and if it's any year to select a edge rusher, is this year. He's a very good player, 6'4", 261, has a lot of burst, a lot of strength to get around the edge. He's very quick, and with Dante Fowler being released and things like that, that fills a hole at edge rusher.
Great pickup. Had a great career at Minnesota. We do have the Browns with the next pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with Calvin Austin III from Memphis.
Yeah, you guys going to have to help me with the positions.
He's a wide receiver. Yeah.
Out of Memphis with the second pick for the Browns. Next up, we have the AFC again. And the Ravens, they have their next pick. You're on the clock.
Oh man, back again. I'm gonna go with the cornerback from Arkansas, Montrick Brown. Montrick, for this. I'm pronouncing it right. Shit. August.
Did I pass him?
Yeah, he from Arkansas. That's where he playing at. That's, yeah, there you go, right there.
All right, cool. So we got redshirt senior. I'm getting drafted early here for the Ravens. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings with their next pick. You're on the clock. That is me again. And I'm going to go ahead and try to pick a quarterback of the future. This particular quarterback had an amazing high school career. He set North Carolina's record in yards for an entire career, beating out some of the best quarterbacks you've ever heard of, Phillip Rivers, et cetera, et cetera. Had a pretty nice career at North Carolina, throwing to less than average wide receivers, stayed pretty healthy. He has a nice arm, has some nice upside. Yes, he looks like Baker Mayfield out there, but when he lets that thing rip, you can clearly see a difference. And he's going to be learning from one of the best or most accurate quarterbacks that we do have here in the league, which is Kirk Cousins. It's going to be a project for the Minnesota Vikings as they select Sam Howell. Next up is the Washington Commanders. You're on the clock.
Obviously, there's a big need right now, wide receiver. Wide receiver board has not fallen very well for that. But I think one guy that I've had my eye on is someone they can put in the slot. And I think here I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I'm going to select Wan'Dale Robinson, the wide receiver out of Kentucky.
I think that's a great pickup. Wendell had a great combine. His tape is amazing as well. Another speedy guy. And with how the league is transitioning, looks like he'll have a pretty solid NFL career. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears. And with this particular pick, I am going to listen to some trades here if anybody wants to move up. All right, looks like nobody wants to move up. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft. He had a pretty great combine. I think he had a pretty nice NFL career. NCAA career as well, as he was receiving passes from one of the best quarterbacks in this year's draft. His name is Alec Pierce. Next up is the New Orleans Hornet. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm sorry, y'all. The New Orleans Saints. You're on the clock.
So here I'm going tackle. I'm going to go with, it's going to be hard to say his name, but he's out of Minnesota. Is David, is very hard. His last name is very hard to say.
David Falali.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. Great tape. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Oh, great guy. Amazing tape. One of those refrigerator type of players where people are not moving him. And once he gets their hands on him, they're not going anywhere. As you can see, some of his career highlights is he has one pressure allowed in the final 8 games of his career, which is absolutely remarkable. David Falali finally coming off the board with a steal for the New Orleans Saints. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs with their next pick, and they're going to be, well, this is my pick. I'm looking to trade this pick if anybody wants to. All right, no trades here. I'm going to go ahead and pick a player that just injured himself. This particular player is going to be potentially a top 15 pick in this year's draft, but he unfortunately suffered a torn Achilles in his uh, pre-draft workouts. It's caught on tape. You guys have probably seen it. It went viral. It was all over ESPN as well. His name is David Ajabo. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles with their next pick. You're on the clock.
You've now made this pick a lot easier for me. I was down to Ajabo and the player I'm about to select. I know Eagles got Hassan Reddick to play edge rusher. It looks like we might be transitioning into a 3-4 defense. I don't know if the player I'm going to take can fit the 3-4 defense, but I think he is a very talented player. I actually watched him today, and he's currently the number 2 edge rusher on my entire board. I'm going to select Cameron Thomas, the defensive end out of San Diego State.
Cameron Thomas out of San Diego State. As you can see, he's coming out early. He just finished up his junior year in high school. He looks like he played tight end, racking up 294 receiving yards. He had 4+ pressures in 13 out of his 14 games last year. Pretty remarkable. If you don't mind me asking, what'd you see on tape?
I mean, he's just a freaky kind of player. They played him a lot on the interior, and I don't think that's the role he really should be playing in. But at 4-3 defensive end, I mean, he has the prettiest swim move I think I've ever seen on tape. I mean, I've put him above guys like Kayvon Thibodeau. I put him above Trayvon Walker. I think he's a very special player. I think he could be one of the guys I work with, GD in scouting. He calls him the next Joey Bosa, and I kind of see it. I mean, he's a very talented player, and it sucks that he kind of went to a small school, was misused, but I mean, he's a very special player right now, sitting at number 11 on my big board.
Got to check out his film again. I did see that spin move, and I completely see what you're talking about. It's a work of art, man. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers with the next pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with Evan Fields, cornerback out of Arizona State.
Another good corner coming off of the board. Hang on. You said what was his name again?
His name's Evan Fields.
Oh,
yeah. He played for Arizona State.
Is his name maybe spelled a different way?
Nah, his name not spelled any different.
Okay. It just maybe could be a pro football focused thing. They may not have him in the pool here just yet. Is there potentially another player that you would like to select?
Yeah. Give me Smokey Monday from Auburn. I'll take him. That's if he's in there. He plays safety.
Smokey Monday out of Auburn, or Smoke Monday out of Auburn, one of the best names here in this year's draft. Finished his career at Auburn in his senior season. He's 22 years old, 6'3", 199 pounds. Next up, we do have the Packers. This is my pick right here. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the phone and see if anybody wants to make any picks. I would like to potentially move, and I'm not going to trade with myself. I don't think that's fair. But if anybody wants to trade, I'm definitely listening.
Is Jaquan Brisker still available? I lost track on the board here.
Yeah, I kind of did too. Let's see here. What was the last name?
Oh, actually, I would not mind moving up with you. What is this pick? Green
53.
Bay.
Green
Okay.
Bay.
Yeah. What else do you have? It's like a weird thing right now because I'm not on PFF. What picks do you have as Green Bay?
Oh, as Green Bay, I have this pick. I got the 59th pick. I got the 92nd pick as well. This gives you a better look at the picks that Green Bay has, though.
Okay.
Which team were you thinking about in your division?
Jacksonville. Moving from 65 with like maybe like a 106 and like a future fourth.
Just for 53?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I'm pretty sure the Packers would accept this in real life. This trade has been accepted. All right. Now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 53rd pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with safety / corner. They have him listed as corner on PFF, Daxton Hill out of Michigan. This is a guy that some people have moving in front of Kyle Hamilton as safety 1, which I think is slightly outlandish, but I think he's still a phenomenal player, can play slot corner and safety. And they're probably going to use him more at safety because with the drafting that I made of Kyer Elam, they will have Shaquille Griffin, Elam, and Darius Williams. So they're probably going to use him back at safety. But I love this pick, and I love the value for him to fall this far.
Another major steal for you in this draft with Daxton Hill. As you did state previously, he is one of the best safeties / corners in this year's draft. We do have the New England Patriots with their next pick. You're on the clock. That is me. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the premier linebackers in this year's draft. His name is Brian Asamoah. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals with their next pick. You're on the clock.
All right, with this pick, we're going to be picking Travis Jones, defensive lineman out of Penn State.
Great pick. Travis Jones, really consistent out of Connecticut. Film speaks a lot on him. Really consistent guy. I think he'll be a pretty nice, solid starter at the next level. We have the Dallas Cowboys with the next pick. You're on the clock.
The Cowboys obviously need a lot of help in the front seven. And so I'm really just looking for value. And I think one player I'm really high on that not a lot of people are talking about, and I'm going to be taking here, is Arnold Ebiketie, an edge rusher out of Penn State.
Oh, I passed him. My bad. Now we got Arnold Ebiketie coming off the board here. They don't have his age up here, but he was a redshirt senior, meaning that he's probably 23, 24 years old. 9 pressures versus Michigan. That is one game in 2021. Multiple pressures in every single game. He has a pretty high motor, and he could definitely make an impact at the next level. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills with the next pick. You're on the clock.
I'm going to go with Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver from the Baylor.
He's still on the clock. Wow.
Yeah.
Great pickup. One of those speedy guys. Again, as mentioned previously, this draft has probably some of the most speediest athletes we've ever seen. And as we see the league transition, you can see a lot of this going forward. Tyquan Thornton ran a 4.29, if I remember correctly. He didn't really pop off the screen in his film, but with him, you post a 4.2, man, you're gonna get drafted on the first or second day. Next up, we got the Falcons with the next pick. You're on the clock.
Here, I'm going to go with a pretty surprising pick, but they're going to need it for the future. Here, I'm going to go Desmond Ritter. With Marcus Mariota being sort of the bridge now that Matt Ryan's gone, they're going to need a long-term answer. And with the veteran like Mariota in the building, Ritter can learn behind him for a year and even start at some point during the year and just get some real NFL game experience and potentially take over next year as they build around him for the 2023 season.
Talk that talk, man. This is a great pickup for Atlanta. If they do make this pick with him learning the ropes from Marcus Mariota, you can't go wrong. Desmond Ritter had the fastest 40 time out of all the quarterbacks that went to the combine and ran it. Had a pretty solid career with Cincinnati. Led them to their best record ever out of the years that anybody has stayed there with him, posting a 44-5 record. One of those guys that can really come on to the next level and burst onto the scene. Next up, we got the Packers. And with this pick, I'm going to select one of the best edge rushers in this year's draft. The Packers, there's really not a need for them, but in today's NFL, you can never go wrong with getting the edge rushers. They're going to take Nick Bonito, one of the best edge rushers in this year's draft. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks. You're on the clock.
Okay, here I'm going to go with Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. Logan Ryan is a solid replacement for Jordan Whitehead, who departed to the Jets, I believe, right? So here with Jaquan Brisker, pretty athletic, can play sideline to sideline, get tackles, run support, all that type of things. And he really solidifies what the Bucs try to do on defense with their physicality.
All right, now we got Jaquan Brisker finally coming off the board. One of the best defensive backs in this year's draft. Hometown kid for Penn State. In his high school career, he played some wide receiver as well, posting up 781 yards. And we all know moving on to the next level for defensive backs, if you played that wide receiver position, you understand the game a little bit more and you're able to jump some routes. You're also able to lock down wide receivers. And we've seen cornerbacks in the past really use this to their advantage. Some quarterbacks that I could mention, Marcus Peters. We look at Trayvon Diggs as well. If you played that wide receiver position, when you go on to the next level at cornerback, it just puts you in a whole other league. All right. And next up with the next pick, the San Francisco 49ers are finally getting a pick. You're on the clock.
All right. Can I just get a look at the cornerbacks to make sure he's still on the board?
Yes, sir.
He's right there. Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State.
Martin Emerson, one of the best cornerbacks in this year's draft out of Mississippi State. As you can see, he only allowed 7 yards versus the 2019 LSU National Championship team. That team was absolutely stacked. And he allowed 0 catches on 5 targets with the pass breakup versus Ole Miss. We have him with Pro Football Focus projected to go in the 3rd round, but he's one of those players that could definitely get drafted in the 2nd round. One of the best guys in this year's draft. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs on the board here again. And with this particular pick, I am going to, oh my goodness.
If you're shopping it, I'll take it.
Oh, you must have seen what I just seen.
I'm also trying to get back in the 2nd round for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm with Houston trying to keep adding on here.
Give me a few seconds, fellas. I'm just thinking. Sky Moore already got took. Khalil Shakur, he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill. And he reminds me of McCole Hartman, but a little bit smaller. Yeah, they're not gonna go wide receiver here. Yeah, he's not gonna. Nobody's gonna draft this guy. What trades would you like to do?
I mean, I'll move 68, so you're only moving down, 6 spots, and I'll add 183 in.
The Cowboys are offering their 3rd round and a 5th round.
3rd round, 5th round, and this year's?
Yes, and the 5th round is one from Cleveland.
Okay. And what was the Jacksonville picks again?
It's Houston, but it's a 3rd, and 68 is a 3rd, and then I can probably just do 108. I don't really care. And that's a 4th.
Yep. With this, I think that the Chiefs would definitely make this trade happen with the Texans, just because that 68th pick is not too far away from the 62nd, and they happen to get a 4th round pick out of the equation as well. You are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm going to go Auburn cornerback Roger McCreary. This is a guy that was in the 1st round coming out of the college football season, kind of got left behind. He's got shorter arms, and that's the main concern around him, but he has played against a lot of top guys in the SEC and played really well against them. I think this guy is a borderline 1st round talent. I think just like I said, the short arms are what's holding him back. I think this would be a steal for Houston, who just continues to add in this draft.
Definitely, he had a great career at Auburn. I'm going to do a little bit of more research on the guy, as I want to see what he did in high school. Over 21,000 or 100 yards on offense. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, you don't even play that position. But next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals with their next pick. You are on the clock.
I'm going to go with Andrew Stuber, offensive lineman from Michigan.
All right, then we got Andrew Stuber coming off of the board here. He had a pretty nice career with the Minnesota Wolverines. Pretty huge guy, 6'7", 338 pounds. Next up, we got my Denver Broncos with our first pick in the draft. And if you guys have been watching my channel, I've been talking about this player. I think he is an absolute steal, as he was one of the leaders on one of the best college football defenses last year. This player learned from the best, Nick Saban. He's got everything it takes to be a nice pro. Yes, there are some questions on his IQ, but I think with this Denver defense, he can definitely move himself into the upper echelon of NFL players. Also, this particular player can definitely learn a lot from our new defensive coordinator, Super Bowl reigning defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero. And this player's name is Christian Harris. Really surprised he fell this low. Pretty young guy, had a pretty solid career at Alabama. And that is it for the 2nd round. Fellas, man, give it up for yourself. I think this was a great experience, man. I would love to do this again. If y'all down, I'm definitely down. Yeah. Anybody got any closing remarks?
Yeah, for sure. This was a lot of fun. I'd like to do this again.
Yeah, thanks for setting up.
This was very fun.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, most
Much
definitely.
love, man.
Most
Appreciate
definitely.
this.
Appreciate it.
No cap, man. I gotta keep it real. Who do y'all think won this 2-round draft we just did?
The Blitz.
The Blitz by far. Man,
I was going to say, I don't mean to be, arrogant, but I felt like I did pretty well with Houston. I might have ended the rebuild in 1 year, or at least the defensive rebuild.
Yeah, that was impressive. Good job.
are you an NFL GM?
I would like to be. If you all can put in a good word for me, I'd love to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I think you can definitely have a career in that, man. This is a great experience. If you guys have some time, definitely give some shout outs, shout your page out so everybody can follow you.
Oh, I'm Sports Talks Fanatics on Instagram again. A lot of NBA and NFL content. I mix it up and try to do discussions, breaking news, things of that nature. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I'm the Blitz. Talked about it at Blitz Pod. Go follow us on Instagram. Go follow at the Blitz Podcast on Twitter. And then check out the Blitz Podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. We post a lot of breaking news. I actually put out the Bruce Arians graphic right as we were starting for this. So we try to have a lot of breaking news out. We put a lot of draft content out, and we should have another mock draft coming out pretty soon. We just put one out a couple of days ago, so be sure to check that out.
And then I'm just Seahawks.Beliefs on Instagram. Just go check it out. Daily Seahawks News.
I'm the Gridiron Observer on Instagram. A lot of scouting content. I either have Cameron Thomas scouting report or Nakobe Dean scouting report out by Friday, and a lot of content coming up. A lot of scouting content. I'm really excited to share. It's gonna be a really busy month, so come follow me. Really fun experience.
Chosen League. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, _Chosen_League. Make sure y'all follow me. Get with me on my podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I talk about the NBA and the NFL, so I'll give y'all updates on that, injuries, trades.
Well, definitely. Well, that's been this mock draft. Again, if you haven't been keeping up with the channel, I will be doing a live watch party with the NFL draft. You guys are free to come in, say whatever you want to say. It's a free open link, man. I'll send you guys a link again. Hey, it's been a good one. Thank y'all for checking out the video. We are out of here.
Yeah, thank you.